Valley Club, one of the major changes throughout Marvel Strike Force is going to be unlocking these mythic characters. The way to get them is through Dark Dimension and the Professor X saga. And in this video, I'm going to give you my recommendations for every single Dark Dimension and the Professor X saga. And if you already see the picks, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button and let's go smash it. And welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having an excellent day. In this video, we're going to give you my picks for the Professor X saga and every single Dark Dimension. And if you get some value from this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new video goes up. Also, I do want to remind you guys the sale is still going on at INTOTHEAM, up to 70% off for their Memorial Day sale. Make sure you use the link down below to save even more. Let's just get right into it. So let's talk about the Professor X saga and we'll work our way back to some of these previous Dark Dimensions. Some of the requirements are a little different for each one of these. So for the Professor X saga, you have City, Gear Tier 20, and there's not a lot of great City characters right now. The Spider Society is a dead team. That was the recommendations for a while, but they're not really used in the raids. Kind of used in some defensive formations in War and Crucible, but at this point, if you don't have them built, they're not really worth going back and building. So Vigilantes and Night Stalker combination is going to be the best characters. Now, the best characters for the Night Stalkers for City, actually the only two characters for the Night Stalkers City, Blade and Oath, and then we also have the rest of the Vigilantes. Now, Punisher is a cheaper character, which is why I think he's a great choice for this. He's cheap, he's a member of the Vigilantes, and for myself, the requirement for Dark Dimensions or Professor X saga, all these kind of chases, there's three type of requirements for me. Are they good in Dark Dimension? What is my gear? And what is their use after Dark Dimension? And I think Punisher fits all those things. He's gonna have a lot of use Dark Dimension after Dark Dimension in the Vigilante team. Pretty good in Dark Dimension with this team, and then pretty cheap as well. The rest of these characters aren't that expensive. Now, you can't just bring in Hitmonkey and Elektra and just go full Vigilantes. I think they'll work. However, I haven't been through the City section in the Professor X saga yet, so that's mainly based on theory. The thing about this one, the Professor X saga, you gotta full clear these. The rest of the Dark Dimensions, as long as you could chip away at these Dark Dimensions, you can get through these, but the Professor X saga is a little different. So a few more pieces, then I'll be done with Oath. I could take these guys in and test them out. If I get more skill character or skill pieces, I might go with Hitmonkey just because he's almost ready. All right, next is the Villain Global section and the Global Hero section. Now, as far as Villain Global characters, we don't have a lot of great characters, so I think the best thing is still going back to that combination of Orcus characters. We do have Apocalypse as an option, and if the gear requirements aren't an option, I think Apocalypse is going to give you more to use after Dark Dimension than Omega Red Phoenix Force, but Phoenix Force is a little cheaper. Omega Red Phoenix Force is a little cheaper, so that is my recommendation, and I know there's other people that went in with Omega Red Phoenix Force and was able to beat these. So Orcus and Omega Red Phoenix Force is the recommendations for Villain Global. Global Hero's a little different. Now, Liberty is a great Global Hero team. We also have Emma Frost, and I think I went with some combination right now with some of them. I think if you either go with full Liberty, I think Emma Frost is a great character because she does have value in Arena right now. So I think you do include Emma Frost. He's not that expensive either. And then you could either lean towards Liberty if you're more towards War. I think Thunderbolts, you can start to go with Thunderbolts right now. And I think of all the Thunderbolts, Victoria Hand has the best kit for Dark Dimension. A lot of the other Thunderbolts kits, including Songbird and Hyperion, you do need either the raid bonuses or multiple Thunderbolts on the team to have that bonus there. Now, one of the better characters of the Thunderbolts is Hyperion. However, he's not a global character. He's going to be a cosmic character there. So he's not an option. So I think you either go with full Liberty or maybe Victoria Hand. I have her here as a placeholder. However, I might eventually go with Patriot in this section here. For your hero global characters, I think you go with the Liberty. Or you may go with some of the Thunderbolt characters. You can't have a full Thunderbolt team because, like I said, Hyperion is that cosmic character. But yeah, I think Liberty is the way to go. You may want to go with Jean Grey and Hercules, or maybe even develop more Astral in the Ancient One. She does have a value in other game modes as well. So I think this is the way to go. One thing that people were using before is Old Man Logan. He does not really work from what I hear in the Professor X saga. So don't build Old Man Logan. I don't think you go back and build Black Knight either. So I think Liberty is the way to go with this, and then maybe Emma Frost in that slot. And then next we have the Villain Cosmic and Villain Hero sections. Now, Villain Cosmic, I think it's pretty simple. You go with your 3 Annihilators, Gore, Gladiator, and Thanos Endgame. I'm assuming if you're at this point going for Professor X, you already have Shadow King unlocked, and you already done some Battle World battles that have Null unlocked as well. So I think Villain Cosmic is pretty simple. Hero Cosmic is the trickier one. I think you're doing the Professor X saga. You should have Odin. You need Lilandra, and because of her synergy with the other Starjammers, I think you bring Havoc and Howard Duck also. And now that we have Quasar, I think you bring him for the Hero Global section as well. Hero Cosmic section as well. You might want to go with Hyperion because he will have some value after Dark Dimension. I don't know how effective he is going to be in Dark Dimension. And I don't know if he's more effective than someone like Quasar. So I think this is the way to go for Professor Xavier Saga. I think the only question I have right now is what I'm going to do with Hero Global. I might go with Liberty. I might go with Victoria Hand, depending how big the Victoria Hand is when we get to these Professor X saga. All right, moving on to Dark Dimension 8 and the previous Dark Dimensions. I think for the city, you just go with whatever you're going to do for Professor X. So whether it be the full Vigilantes and then replacing one member because Elektra is a villain and then using her in the villain section here, or just go with the 3-piece Vigilantes, Punisher, Daredevil, and Silver Sable, and then do the Blade and Oath. I think this is the best combination, and you can use these for a lot of the other stages down there. So I think City is solved right now. The non-legendary City villains is still a little tougher right now. I think the best section right now is a Superior 6. Like I said, you can bring in Elektra for the Vigilante section, although I think you're going to get a lot better synergy with the Sinister 6. So this is kind of the only dead team right now for the city villains. So yeah, there's not a lot of great options here. The only one you might want to consider outside of that is Elektra or Red Goblin. But the rest of them, I think you just go with the standard Superior 6. We know that these guys can work. All right, for non-legendary global heroes, we're going to use a very similar team, either leaning fully into the Liberty with Emma Frost, X-Men, or maybe Victoria Hand or Ancient One or something like that. So global heroes, I think this is the way to go. Liberty is the team with the newest stats, so I think you lean into that. I think Emma Frost is involved in the meta. I think it's worth building her up as well. Then Victoria Hand, we may either go Patriot, we may either go Victoria Hand. I don't think it's worth building up Songbird just for the Professor X sagas, so we're trying to be super efficient here, so I don't think you go back and build this character for previous Dark Dimensions as well. The non-legendary city global, non-legendary global villains. You can build Apocalypse because I did think he has a lot of value in other game modes, especially if you do have the gear. But Orcus is the team I think we lean into at this point for the rest of them. You can go full Orcus if you want and then save some of the resources for Apocalypse, but I think Apocalypse is going to give you value throughout the game, so I think he is still worth building up. Now, Legendary Cosmic, this is a very, very fast clear. If we're looking for characters that are in the meta right now and are going to kind of overlap with Professor X saga, Old Man Logan is in the meta, but just because I don't think we're going to take in the Professor X saga, we're going to take him out. Same thing with Val and probably Super Skrull as well. So if we rebuild this team with our cosmic characters, our non-legendary cosmic characters, I think we go with the other Annihilators. We're building them anyway. And last but not least, I think we go with Null because we're building him anyway. So for the Legendary Cosmic section, I think I'm going to go with this team. You can't just put Shadow King instead of Mephisto just to make it consistent for all of these. But I think some combination of Annihilators, Null, and Shadow King, Mephisto, or a few other characters, maybe some Starjammers would work here too because you got to build them up for the Professor X saga. All right, Dark Dimension 7, slightly different requirements. We have the city section again. I think we just go with the same city characters there. Non-legendary, non-mythic, global, I think we go with Emma Frost because we're building her for several other teams. And then we just go with the Orcus team. We're gonna have to build them for the Professor X. We're gonna have to build them for Odin. So yeah, we just use them here. You can use some heroes if you want, but I think Orcus, you're gonna need them for the raids anyway. So I think this is a great team for that. The non-legendary, non-mythic, cosmic, and we just go with the Annihilators. Null is great, and then Kahori gives us value in other game modes, and I think Kahori is a great choice for some of the content. We may need her for the Professor X saga because of that speed that she gives. So we'll build her here, and I think this is the way to go for Cosmic. Legendary, Old Man Logan, you're not going to use in Professor X Saga, but he still is in the arena meta, so he's definitely worth building. Same thing with Shadow King. Quasar, the newest character, and usually you want to build the newest characters. I like Phoenix because she's part of the Phoenix Force, great, and Cosmic Crucible. And then last, I guess it's up to you. I use Black Cat more than some of these other legendaries, but if you're using some of these other legendaries more than Black Cat, obviously build that character. Some characters are still involved in the meta right now. Invisible Woman is still involved in the meta. Green Goblin is still sort of involved in the meta. If you pair Red Hulk with a team with Apocalypse, kind of involved in the meta. Defensively, Rogue is still on a lot of teams as well. So really, it really depends which way you want to go with this mythic section there. So really depends what you want to do as far as the legendary. I think these four are locked in, and then the fifth, whatever way you want to go with that. And then the mythic characters, not a lot of great mythic characters for this. Dormammu is there, Kestrel's there, Ultimus there, Super Skrull, Apocalypse. The other options, you're not going to have unlocked. You're not going to have Mephisto. You're not going to have Odin. You're not going to have Professor X. So the only other options are Doom and Ultron. And I don't think these characters are more, I don't think those characters are more valuable than Dormammu. So I think that's the way you go. And last but not least is Dark Dimension 6. Global characters, you could use global heroes, global villains. We went with some of our villains again and Emma Frost. So we went with Omega Red Phoenix Force. We went with Orcus, whatever characters that we have from some of the previous stages that you're building. Orcus, Omega Red, you could lean into heroes, villains, whatever you want to do. You could go Liberty here. Just try to be consistent with what you're using for the next few stages. We're building all of these characters. We need all of these characters. So any one of these is fine. Cosmic characters, we could use these characters, other characters. We could use Lalandra at this point, build her up. We do need her for the Professor X Saga. However, you could use a bunch of other cosmic characters here as well, but I think Annihilators, Null are worth building, and whoever you want to use for the Cosmic Fifth, you can, either some of the heroes that we're using for Professor X or some of the villains. City characters, I think we just stick with the same things. The Spider Society, like I said, is dead. Don't go with enemy anymore. You go with either full Vigilantes or Night Stalker / Vigilantes. Non-legendary Horsemen, pretty much the same thing as the previous section there. So we have the Old Man Logan, Phoenix, we have Shadow King, Quasar. I like Black Cat. You could use whoever you're using more. And then pretty much the same thing, but we're involving Apocalypse now. So Apocalypse, Old Man Logan, Quasar, Shadow King, and Phoenix. Again, whoever you want to use in this spot, use whoever you're using the most. I use Black Cat, but you could use one of those other characters that we mentioned for the previous section. So those are my updated picks for Dark Dimension, June of 2025. Hopefully you got some value from this video, and if you did, leave it a like. Check me out on social media. If you want to check out another game that I'm playing, Raid Shadow Legends, been playing that for about 3 months. Check out my second channel, all about Raid Shadow Legends and how you get some free characters. And I'll see you guys next time. If you do want to check out the 10 best teams in Marvel Strike Force, check out the video up there. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk Fist Bump, ValleyFlyin out.